r/AskReddit.
Reddit.
What is your biggest fear? What are you afraid of more than anything? Getting psychosis. Not to make your fear any less real, but you really learn to live with it eventually. I've been diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic for a while now, and I can remember being terrified when I first started having delusions. It is scary, and it is different, and can be hard at times, but I'm still me. I hope you never have to face any form of your fear, but if it ever comes down to it, I am sure you would find a structure that is best for you. Some nights I am just feeling really creeped out and scared, just happens randomly, probably happens to everyone. And I just couldn't imagine feeling really scared then out of nowhere from the corner of my dark room seeing something moving, hearing sounds or whispers. I would just cry. Same. The thought of not being able to tell what's real and what's not is absolutely terrifying. I recognize you can live a full and happy life if you are diagnosed, but I feel like I would get so caught up in my own head about it. The good news is, it's likely that you won't know or won't care. If the brain is the filter for everything, then how are you going to know you aren't already psychotic? Damn. Sorry. That I am too late to achieve what I want in a reasonable amount of time. I feel this way about saving for retirement. Am I too late to catch up? Am I going to have to eat dog food, like so many poor old people do? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Absolutely. I just still fear that it won't be enough. Being financially responsible, savvy is not a common enough trait in today's society. It is a constant learning process, and the sooner you start the better. You owe it to yourself as well as your kids, future kids, to educate yourself. There is an endless amount of content on YouTube to get you started on the process. Explore communal living. There will be many, decent and lovable people in the same boat with you in the US, if that's where you are then. Pooling meager resources to provide a higher community and individual standard of living has been a thing, successfully, since there were humans. Think outside the common, fear-based narrative. It doesn't have to happen to you. You have taken the first step in being aware and concerned. I got my college degree when I was 45 and I was not the oldest in my class. Never say never. That is my fear too, and I cannot have stated it more accurately than this sentence says. I mean, I will probably achieve it, but by the time I do, there are just years I wish I could have spent with the fruits of those efforts had I not been too shy to approach them earlier. I'm 20, and I feel this. It's an awful feeling. Heights. And I even know it's irrational at times, but it's still crippling for me. But for some reason I'm totally comfortable with flying. And tracing, because I am afraid of heights and I am afraid of flying, but now it is better though. Do me a favor, subscribe to my channel, and click the notification. I'm not sure, but I think I'm okay with flying because my family used to travel a lot when I was younger, and my brain kinda just disassociated a situation. Looking out the window, it almost doesn't seem real, everything being so tiny, and by the time I was old enough for that to not work, I was just so used to it that I didn't care. But there was one time I was on a plane that was so tiny it only fit 10 people, and they made a second flight for our luggage due to weight. That led to a 45 minutes panic attack so bad that my parents had to find me Xanax in a foreign country to get me back on a plane for the return flight. I was probably 12 or 13 at the time. Yes, I had something like that. Usually that's okay, but once at the flight I had a panic attack. What about being on a mountain? I'm afraid of heights, but mostly fearing mechanical failure, structural integrity, but my feet on the ground on mountain doesn't bother me, given I stay a couple feet from the edge. Steep inclines don't bother me, but I'm not going anywhere near a cliff. When it's man-made I think it will be mechanical failure, but when it is something like a cliff it's I'll do righty. I'm not in any way suicidal, but in my head it feels like I'm fighting something trying to pull me off the edge. Completely this. Heights in general, I'm good with ledges, especially the edges of cliffs freak me TF out. Can't go anywhere near them or see other people go near them. A couple of months ago I was hiking with friends and told a grown-ass 58-year-old man in prime health to be careful and stay back from the ledge. For me, the fear of heights is more about control. I used to love roller coasters and the like, but now they feel too out of control for me. Having a chance and wasting it. Sometimes it'd be like that. Feeling like I just did. And it's eating me up. Stupid mental health getting in the way of shit. Something terrible happening to my loved ones. Can't have something terrible happen to your loved one if you don't have any loved one to begin with. The ocean. Specifically, open water in the middle of the ocean. Nothing scares me more than being in the middle of the ocean seeing nothing but water in every direction with no way of escape. Also all those creatures. I'm helplessly sitting there at their mercy. Wow, I got goosebumps writing this. The ocean is such a scary and beautiful thing. I have never seen ocean, only sea, but you described it so well that I am scary as well now, haha. The ocean is real power. Power can be a beautiful and majestic thing. Power and fear like a tsunami. No man could ever reach this level of power. I know that fear. It is like a huge, dark, gaping maw just waiting to swallow me whole. Panic-inducing. I never rationalized this fear until I was in Belize. It took 2 hours to get to the reef that looked like it was literally off the coast on the map. That got me to realize how we were actually so on the coast in the grand scheme of it and how big the ocean really is. That and all of the shit inside of it that we haven't come close to discovering yet. Do me a favor, subscribe to my channel, and click the notification. This, and the depth is absolutely incomprehensible. The deepest scuba dive ever is 1,000 feet. The average ocean depth is 12,000 feet, and its deepest point that has been measured is 3 times that. I love the ocean, but it freaks me out too. I'm 4 feet 10 inches. I'm not even a snack in a new damn fine way, just a vague nibble in every sense. If something out there in the ocean wanted to eat me, it would be like a blue whale swallowing krill. Also ocean at night with thunderstorm is 10 times worser. Getting my eye poked out by an umbrella and then death. Another vibes. Oddly specific. R, suspiciously specific. Let me guess, another? Why would death poke your eye out? Like, with his scythe? I'm more horrified of falling down and somehow landing on the umbrella I was previously holding. Like this, sorta gruesome. Edit. Just noticed the top reply for this is another vibes. But here's the scene anyways. That I'll discover at death that my agnostic, atheist views are wrong, and as such I'm in for some shit. Although if you think about it, it would probably be worse the other way round. How so? For example, if you were a Muslim you wouldn't have had the joy of getting a tattoo, drinking alcohol, doing drugs, eating pork, having sex before marriage, being able to live on your own, specifically for girls. When you die you realize you missed all of that and you basically had a semi-boring life. I'm not saying that's all of what life has to offer, sure there are more exciting, fun things you can do, but you would have still missed an opportunity to have had a fun party or got high with some friends. Just my opinion. If atheists are right and there's no afterlife, then this hypothetical Muslim will not have even a second to realize that they missed anything, so they'll not have a possibility to be upset. I feel like huge regret at the end of your life, although terrible, is still better than burning forever in hell for being a non-believer, assuming in the other way around religion is true. But which religion would be right? A devout Muslim can live his whole life religiously and still burn in hell if Christianity is correct, instead. Well, that's only some religions. Atheist being wrong doesn't mean those, in fact that all of ours could be wrong. So if we take it like that, everybody should be afraid. I'm Muslim and I've either done these, plan on, have thought about doing these, except for the pork only at this point I'm basically averted to the smell of it, let alone the taste. They say God is all merciful, so I repent. It is fascinating to me that it is very possible that religious people devote their entire lives worshipping a god only to die in a blip and be gone with literally no afterlife of any sort. Won't have time to regret anything though. Very true. But they wouldn't be there to have the thought. So, they can't really be disappointed, because they are just a lump of dead flesh. If there is a God, and your worst sin is being a non-believer, I'd like to think they'd forgive you. I'm a religious guy, but I believe this in some way too for some odd reason. If you spent your entire life not believing in God but being a good person and supporting and helping others and making them happy, that God will actually accept you with open arms as you lived a good life and fulfilled what he created you for. Read Pascal's wager. Edit. I'm not religious, it just seemed that this was a question that sort of fit the motif for Pascal's wager. There's a few problems with Pascal's wager. To steal from Wikipedia. 1. God either exists, or he doesn't. 2. By living, you'll eventually find out whether one or the other is true, and you cannot escape playing the game. Wager. 3. There is some, non-zero, chance of God existing. 4. If God exists, and I give up a finite amount of resources, beliefs in order to be faithful, then I end up with infinite happiness. 5. If God exists and I don't give up that finite amount of resources, chose not to believe, then I end up with infinite sadness, hell. 6. If God does not exist, then all I give up by believing are finite for nothing. 7. The infinite finite. 8. It is better to give up some finite earthly stuff in exchange for the chance of infinite happiness. It is better to choose to believe in God than not. Here are some problems. 1. The which God problem. Say I choose to accept Pascal's wager. There are dozens of mutually exclusive religions with behavior that requires some sacrifice. If I choose to be a Christian, in most sects I cannot also become a Hindu. I would therefore be paralyzed into inaction, as any action I take condemns me to infinite unhappiness. Like, I could tell you right now that if you don't eat sand for the rest of your life, you and everyone you know and love will be abducted by aliens and put into a virtual hell for their entertainment. There's a non-zero chance of that happening, so therefore the pragmatic thing would be to eat sand and so avoid that fate. 2. Choosing to believe. As a lot of religious people would tell you, religion is a very intimate, very personal experience. It'd be pretty insincere to logic myself into believing for my own pragmatic reasons. Even if I chose the right religion, would that God really let me through the pearly gates? You can't really logic your way into believing the existence of God. Doesn't work that way. No, you can't. I find Pascal's argument perfectly logical, but it doesn't make me believe. I don't have the post saved, but I saw a comment on art, atheism that really cemented my back and forth thoughts for me way back when. To paraphrase, I wouldn't want to live my life in fear. Suppose I am wrong. Suppose when I die I am met at the pearly gates by Saint Peter or God himself, and I'm given one chance to explain myself. What could I say but I'm sorry? I'm sorry, but I got it wrong. All of the religions contradicting each other made it seem like it couldn't be real. I lived my life to the best of my abilities as I knew how, as an honest and decent human being. If I were to still be sent to hell, simply for not practicing a religion, I wouldn't want to believe in that God anyway. I would never be able to have faith in a being that would punish me for being confused. Subscribe to the channel and check out more Reddit videos here by me, Reddit Robin.